Hello, and welcome to all new and returning viewers to episode 18 of the Herwoodian Crafter podcast. I'm Jutta. I'm coming to you from Tampere, Finland, and this is my podcast about knitting and sewing and crocheting and all kinds of crafting. It's been about 2 weeks since I last recorded an episode, but it's been only, I think it was just this week that I actually got it uploaded and edited. So yeah, but since I actually want to try and get back to recording every 2 weeks or thereabouts, that's why I'm doing this right now, even though I feel like I'm not sure I have a lot of content to share with you. But if it's a short one, it's a short one, and that's okay. But let's start with sewing this week. The first thing I want to share with you is the thing I'm wearing right now. It's a little bit of a surprising color for me. I usually don't get drawn towards the red fabrics or clothes, but since it was the weekend that I recorded last time that I had a few days to myself, I went to Eurokangas and didn't find a lot of fabric for any kind of project, but I did see this fabric, and even though I wasn't sure if I was gonna wear it and it wasn't kind of screaming at me to buy it. It just kind of kept coming to mind after the visit there. So I think it was last weekend that I went back and bought enough fabric for a heather dress. So let me show you. Here it is. It's one size smaller than the last version I made. Of course you can see the hem of it, but I'm not sure that that's the point. But it's a lot better. It's actually, there's still a little bit of extra here, but that's okay. I have the tendency of buying shirts shirts that are really kind of really form fitted. They're usually made of jersey or knit fabrics, so they have a lot of stretch, so they can be very, very fitted. But this is very comfortable. It sits on me okay. Still love the pockets, and I'm a lot happier with this version than I am with the last one, the grey one that I showed you some episodes ago. But yes, I'm very happy with this one. I just actually finished it today, so great. Then I have another piece of sewing to share with you, and that's a project bag. Here it is. It's I didn't use any kind of ready-made pattern for this. It's only kind of my thought on what shape of a project bag I would like and what it should look like. There are things that I want to make differently with the next bag, because I wanted this fabric to be kind of halfway here, and yeah, these don't line up like I want them to. But other than that, it's quite and it's a little bit maybe bigger than I would have liked. So I'm making a smaller one. I'm constructing it a little bit differently than I did with this. So we'll see what happens with that. Other than that, I'm very happy with it, considering I whipped this out of my own kind of imagination. I'm very, very happy with it. And it's a good sized bag anyways. And it has a handle here, And yeah, I'm really kind of happy as a first try at this. And then smoothly we will transition into the knitting content, because I have something I haven't shared with you before in here. And actually this started with mittens for my kid, because it was maybe about a month ago that my husband was outside with our kid, as he tends to do in the weekends. They go for a walk, and when they came back, my kid's hands were so cold that I was actually kind of it kind of spooked me that his hands were that cold. It's never fun, and it's even less fun when you're that small. So I made him some mittens. I don't have them with me right now, but I will put a photo here of them. And then I decided that it's never a bad idea to have more than one hat, and so I continued with the same yarns that I used for the mittens, and I started a hat for him. Here it is. It's gonna be so warm and so soft and so squishy, because as you can see, I'm using brioche. 2-color brioche. I took the measurements from a hat he already has, and as you can see, it's very, very, very stretchy. It probably could fit me if I were to want to fit it on my head. It would be snug, but it could fit my head, I think. But yeah, it's slow going because, of course, 2-color brioche, or well, any kind of brioche, you need to go around twice to knit all the stitches. So in case you're not familiar with brioche, you basically lift every other stitch per round. So on one round you left without knitting, for example, the purl stitches, and then do a yarn over at the same time, and then on the next row you do the other stitches, and then you knit or purl the yarn overs with the previous lift stitches. That's a very bad explanation, but I'm actually quite certain that most of you are familiar with brioche already, so I'm just wasting my breath. But yeah, it's slow going, but I'm trying to. I usually knit on this when I'm at home with my son during the day, because this is very easy to pick up and do maybe a row or two and then put it down once he needs me again or something like that. The yarn for this is Novita Nalle Taika. It's this kind of very colorful, and yeah, so I remember that I have looked at what weight of yarn this is. I want to say it's maybe DK, because I remember that I wanted to say that it was a sport weight yarn, and it's not quite that, but basically 100 grams has 260 meters or 284 yards of yarn. So that's the weight. And yeah, it's gonna be very warm. I like the color. I really like how the white is coming through the yeah, I like it. Yes. Then I have an FO. I actually have, well, if we're very strict, I have 3 FOs because I told you about the mittens. Then I've finished the bubbly sweater, but as I promised, I'm not going to show it to you anymore. It still needs to be blocked, and the ends need to be woven in, but the knitting is done. There was maybe like 2 centimeters to go when I showed it to you last time, so there's really no point. You won't see the difference, other than there are no needles attached. But then I showed these to you last time also, but now they're finished. So these are the vanilla latte-ish socks made with Lanithium X Machina Basic sock yarn, and the colorway was Punk Princess. It's really it's a dark, but it has lovely purplish and kind of pinkish spots on it. I hope you can see it better than what I can see on my screen right now. But anyway, they're done and still need to be woven in, but other than that, they're ready to go. And I need to get them to my friend somehow. I'm not sure when I'm going to be seeing her next time. I may just pop those into the mail post. Yeah. I haven't made any kind of acquisitions other than this fabric. I did go to the library. I love going to the library, but lately I feel like there's no point because most of my reading is done on my Kindle right before I go to sleep. So I'm in my bed, lights off, with my Kindle. So renting out or loaning out books, physical books, hasn't been the best idea lately. But after a long while, or a long break in my library visits, I went there to see what I could find, maybe just the one book, and see if I could get it. Well, the issue isn't so much, well, I might not read the books I loan out, but the problem tends to be that even though I don't read them, I also tend to be late with returning them, and I've had some quite astounding amounts of fees to pay because of it. But I thought that just one book, and it's a very small book, it's this small, maybe I could get this read before it's due back. This is a book by Marketta Klemola. It's about plant dying, which is very interesting to me. I'm wondering, how old is this book? It's older than me. This has been published 1978, but since it's plant dying, I feel like the information probably isn't that old. The only thing is that the pictures are black and white, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But there are a lot of recipes, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but maybe either take the title of this book down and reloan it towards the summer, or then kind of making writing down notes on this for the summer, because of course right now there's very little to dye with. It's still very, very wintry and very, very snowy, and yeah. But anyways, I feel like this will be an interesting book. It's something that, of course, since I have been dyeing yarn otherwise, this is something that interests me, at least on the information level. I'm not sure if I have the kind of, especially right now, if I have the energy to actually do it during the summer, but I do like the natural aspect of that kind of dyeing, and as far as I know, I kind of like the surprise element of maybe not being able to repeat colorways exactly as they are. Of course, hand dyeing is always kind of a gamble, but as I've understood it, there's a little bit more of a surprise element to it with plant dyeing. But yes, very interesting. I hope I get around to reading this quite soon. And yeah. Oh, hey, I forgot about this one. This was my last night's handicraft thing, which I'm very, very happy about. It's this very small crocheted 2-color pouch bag. It's very, very, very small. I think maybe I had a thought that maybe this could be a notions bag of some sort, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna want to take the effort to sew a zipper in here. But basically, my main thing about this was to try this type of crocheting, because I haven't done this kind of crocheting ever. And also the pattern, the color design is something that has been kind of tugging at my imagination and brain lately. So I'm doubly excited about this, first because of the technique, which I haven't used before, and then that, well, as you can see, I started here and it didn't quite go as well as I thought it would, and I didn't have the kind of how many white is, I'm still not familiar with English version of crochet vocabulary, but whatever, comparable to stitches. So how many whites should there be between here and yeah, so that part was kind of figuring it out. And then I noticed that, yeah, this thing works and this part of it doesn't, and then I didn't want to rip back, so I just made a one row of pure white and then just started again. I'm not yet quite sure what I'm going to be doing with this. I want to do something, but I wanted to show this to you because I'm very proud of it. I think I really like the design. It's lovely and big and, well, big and graphic, and yeah, I really like it. But actually, yeah, really, actually, it's gonna be a really short one. One future purchase that is coming next, probably Tuesday, is that the newest issue of Linen magazine is coming out on the Tuesday, so that's the 20th. So I'm probably gonna get a wiggle on it and go and buy that straight away. So I might actually delay uploading this until I have that, and then maybe record a small piece reviewing that. And yeah, because guess it's just about 20 minutes at the moment, the length of the recording, and other than the Vlogmas episodes, I have never put out an episode this short before. So yeah, that sounds like a good plan to me. I will have to try and edit this part of it to get it ready, so when I do the recording for the review, then I could just throw that after this and get it uploaded quickly. But in case I don't do that recording, that's about it right now. Thank you so much for even this short amount of time that you've spent with me. If you like this episode, press the like button on YouTube and maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that, but of course you will do as you please, and that's completely fine. But for this part of this episode, thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely time crafting until I see you next time. Bye bye! Hi! So this is the update about the newest issue of Linen magazine. A lot later than I thought it would be. But anyway, I also have another magazine and one surprise finished object. Now, you've seen the finished object if you follow me on Instagram. If you don't, whatever, here it is. So this is actually from the newest issue of Linen magazine because it was just so beautiful. The yarn is so beautiful and the pattern was really, really, really nice. So here it is. It's a smaller version of the rift cowl. So this is supposed to be a cowl that goes around the neck twice. I didn't want to make that big of it, and also when I looked at the pattern, I felt like, oh yeah, I just wanted to make a smaller, quicker project of it. This yarn is Hedgehog Fibers Merino DK, and the colorway is Film Noir. The top and bottom rib sections are just your basic rib. There was some things that you were supposed to do, tubular cast on and something else, and I just couldn't focus on it and didn't see the point of it, so I just did a 1x1 rib. And then there are these lovely, these are basically their cables, so I'm actually quite surprised that I got them. I was so kind of enamored with this pattern, but it was really quick. I started it on Tuesday, the day that Linen magazine was released or published, and I finished this on Friday night. I would have gotten it done quicker, but in my haste I had some issues with the stitch count. I did do a gauge swatch, and that really wasn't the issue. The issue was with basically there are the pattern panels, and then what I missed in my kind of excitement and haste, I missed that there are rib sections between the patterns. So, and then I did some other stupid mistakes, so I had to start the rib. I think it was, did I start it 3 times, or was the 3rd time that I got it right? I don't remember anymore. But anyways, so it's not exactly the kind of size. Ideally it would be just a tiny bit smaller, but with the stitch count and everything else, this is just perfect. It's big enough that I can have my the collar and hood of my jacket get inside here, and it's just lovely and snuggly and soft. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I started making some notes, and I made a project page for this in Ravelry. So if you want to see what stitch count I have, you'll see it from there. And yeah, I've been wearing it every time after it finished. Every time I went outside, I had this on, and it's so lovely. Then, with the actual Linen magazine issue, is once again the photography and everything, and the patterns are so beautiful, but this time there's only 3 patterns that I felt like would be the type that I would possibly knit for myself at any point. So one was the rift cowl, then there are 2 cardigans that I thought were really beautiful that I might sometime get done. The first one is the Lakeland cardigan. It's by Fiona Alice. It's this one. So I really like that it's kind of simple and oversized, and then there's some rib, and then there's a little bit of texturing, but not really. Well, of course, that's a big part. There's a big part of it is textured, but otherwise it looks quite simple, and I really like that. And then the other one was where is it? The Eric cardigan by Isabel Kramer, and it's this petrol. Not sure how well you can see that, but it's this really beautiful. It has cabling and texture on the front piece, and once like the Lakeland cardigan, that the sleeves and the back are just plain stockinette. That's really pretty as well. This time the city they kind of talk about is Paris, and I don't think I've ever really been very keen on visiting France, mainly because of what I've heard of French people and their language. And since, well, I have taken a few years worth of French lessons when I was in the lower grades. I think it's when we're about, I would say, 10 to 12 years old. So I remember a little bit, and I have some kind of a grasp on the pronunciation, but from what I've heard, they're so kind of they're so particular about the pronunciation and everything else. I've actually heard from my cousin who visited France at one point that the waiter at the restaurant started correcting her language. So yeah, just based on that, I've never been quite keen on visiting. So wasn't a home run for me this time. But yeah, the photography is as beautiful as ever. There are articles about Labi and Aimee, and then the other one was Suzanne Sommer, and then there was one about, what was it? Let's get the name right. Tall Yarn and Wool, which is from the United States. And the only thing, one thing that I did kind of notice, which kind of puzzled me, I'm quite sure that it's not intentional. I don't understand why it would be intentional, but then again, I can't understand how they could have missed this. Is that the people who have read this, they know that there's always a little kind of feel-goody piece of text underneath the headline. And in this issue, that piece of text is same on Tall Yarn and Wool article, and also in the Labi and Aimee article. So I can't understand how they missed that, and it's clear that it actually belongs in the Tall Yarn and Wool article. That was interesting. But of course, mistakes happen. There's bound to be mistakes happening. Yeah, everyone gets those. And then on Saturday we went to, so this is Monday 26th of February. So on Saturday we went with our crafty club, which I've talked in some video before this, that we have kind of a crafty club with women in my husband's family. There's at the moment there's six of us, and this time there were 7 of us because one of their daughters is old enough now that it's actually okay and lovely to bring her along as well. So we went to Helsinki on Saturday to spend the day there, and we always do some form of craft related things. So this time we went to an exhibit that was there for the last day that day, and it was about and the name of it was Stitches, and it had to do with embroidery and what you can do with embroidery, and it was really nice. And then we toured around some design shops and bought very little. But the one thing that I bought was this. It's not a new issue anymore. It's the first issue of this year, so it's not that old, but it's been out. I think it probably came out in January. I just hadn't had the chance to get this, and at first I wasn't really that interested in it. But then I've heard so many wonderful things about this magazine that I thought that might as well. So yeah, and apparently they always have a kind of a craft of the year, and this year it's embroidery, and that's of course something that I'm interested in. So I thought that I might as well buy it and see what I'll think about it. And yeah, it looks like a very lovely and kind of it talks about so many different kinds of crafty things. There is an article about someone who makes corsets, makes handmade corsets for burlesque stars, and then there's one who makes no, I can't remember the word, but handcrafts these. No, it's gonna bother me, but handcrafts these. Actually, it feels like it's been completely gone from my mind. The word for it, I know it. I know I didn't finish. I can't remember it. But anyway, many kind of different kinds of handicrafts people, and yeah, I haven't really properly read through this yet. But yeah, it really looks lovely. But yeah, that's the only additional piece that I had for you. I'm supposed to record again this coming weekend, and I have absolutely no idea if I have anything to share with you, so it might be that I'll skip recording next weekend, and then record on the week after that. So we'll see. We'll see each other when we see each other. Thanks again for joining me. Bye bye.